Now, Israel has continued its demolition of Palestinian structures around Jerusalem Al-Quds for the second consecutive day. Bulldozers backed by Israeli troopers destroyed buildings near an industrial park north of Jerusalem Al-Quds on Wednesday. Witnesses said that the Israelis began demolishing the buildings in the absence of the owners, leaving them without an opportunity to evacuate their buildings. This just one day after Palestinian structures were destroyed in the Jerusalem Al-Quds neighborhood of Silwan. Palestinian rights groups have documented increased pressure on Palestinians by Israeli troopers, with more than 40 Palestinians left homeless due to Israeli demolitions in Jerusalem Al-Quds last week alone. A total of 579 homes have been destroyed in the city over the last 12 years, leaving 2,218 Palestinians homeless. Well, to discuss that further, I'm joined by Max Igan, who is a radio host and political commentator, and he's joining us live now via Skype from Peru. Thanks very much for joining us here on PressTV, sir. What does it say about Israel that it continues to destroy homes with impunity?
Well, this is just another typical example of Israel's complete flagrant disregard for international law and disregard for any peace process with the Palestinians. And it's very frustrating for most of the people of the world to see this happen and to see that it remains unreported by the mainstream media. That's really the real problem that we have here, is the one-sided, biased reporting by the mainstream media, their failure to address any of the atrocities or war crimes of Israel, and the utter failure of the United Nations to have any teeth and actually do anything about this situation. You know, it's an open war crime, an open human rights violation and abuse that is ongoing, and the people of the world, frankly, are outraged by it, but we just don't see any change. And it just boggles the mind how this can be allowed to continue by the United Nations and it to claim to be any type of authority at all.
So then, Mr. Igan, why do we hear all this talk of quote-unquote peace talks, a peace process, etc.?
Well, I think it's just rhetoric for the people to try to appease the people, to make the people believe that there is some sort of peace process happening. But whatever peace process Israel ever attempts to launch with the Palestinians, they're demolishing homes at the same time while they're doing it. And it's also Israeli terms and Zionist terms. It's always the same way. And unfortunately, the United Nations continues to support this, But again, it's the mainstream media that is the real problem. The media's failure to report this, and they're continuing to offer such biased, incredibly one-sided reporting on the whole issue. Their failure to report any of the crimes that Israel ever carries out against the Palestinians is tantamount to war crimes in itself. It's tantamount to propaganda, war propaganda, and propaganda that is supporting genocide. And that's one of the reasons we don't see a real reaction. No real public outcry, because it's not on the news, it's not on the television. People can be upset about it in their own homes, but it's just not reported to any degree that's going to cause any sort of wave that's going to change anything. So that's the real problem.
Okay, we'll leave it there at that point. But of course, Mr. Igan, we appreciate you taking your time out to speak to us here at PressTV.